What's up, you filthy casuals? Welcome to Casual Shenanigans Gaming, a podcast all about the irreverent love of gaming. I am your host, Jeremiah. I'm back. I'll never leave you guys again. But these guys did a pretty good job last week, actually. I wanted to congratulate you guys. You did a good job, except for Joel implying that I was like some domineering parent and that I was gone. You guys could have fun. That's not true. I'm lots of fun. But I'm Jeremiah, and I'm joined by Joel.
Hey guys.
Who does have something to sell you this week. Stay tuned. Joined by Dave.
That's me.
And James.
What's up?
James, you did a great job hosting last week.
Thanks.
No, I actually meant that.
I actually meant the thanks too.
Actually,
I'm glad we're all in agreement then.
So let's just. Who are you talking to, Joel?
I think myself. Was I talking out loud?
Just go ahead.
What did you just say? What did you say?
These headphones are like they mute it a lot more. So like sometimes I'll be like,
You can't tell if your mouth is.
I think I was starting to say something and I didn't realize I was still going. So I didn't say anything bad.
Joel, have you caught up on sleep from last weekend? Because I don't think you have.
I'm still catching up, honestly.
Oh,
And
man.
Joel, what were you doing last weekend?
A 48-hour film festival.
Which we're going to talk about during the 90 seconds. of
Yeah,
Joel.
we have a segment for that. We'll leave it. To be there.
Okay. We'll leave it for that. I saw that you put it in there, but I saw you took it out with something else. So I was like, I don't know if we're still doing it or not. Oh no, move that game thing. That's its own segment. James, can we get another section in the magical podcast sheet? Yeah. Yes, we can. You can do it. Make it happen. Make it happen. Directives have been handed down.
Where did Joel put it?
All right. It is time for the announcements. We are playing DayZ again. At least once more. The 0.58 patch did not come out, did it, Dave?
No, I think it's funny that you're saying that we're playing DayZ again. We're talking about playing DayZ again, and we have been talking about it for like 4 weeks now, but we haven't actually played yet.
We're going to be playing
We'll be playing
on Saturday.
No matter what.
Dave and I are going to be joining the Greybeards, who are a DayZ clan. They have offered to be our shield and sword in the night and protect our innocence.
Protect our realm.
While you unwashed hordes come and try to kill us. Dave and I are going to be wearing special clothing, which we'll tell you about on the night of. If you kill us and get proof. Joel, like
In
a
real
special,
life? In
like
real
a
life?
special headband.
No, I was thinking in real
I have my
life.
special sweat-wicking yoga pants I'm going to be wearing.
I'll be dressing
Of
up like
course you
Dean
would.
Hall.
Would you put that in your special folder? All right. So anyway, Dave and I are going to be wearing special clothing. If you kill us, you're going to get a prize. You could get a gaming headset. You could get a mouse. You could get a $20 Steam gift card. So all you need to do is come on out this Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The name of the server will be Casual Shenanigans, and our Teamspeak server, as always, is in the description of the podcast and pretty much every other video we do. Second bit of news, Rocket League tournament on the PS4. We're still getting set up for that. We have had a couple teams come in after Joel insulted you all last week and said no one wanted to play with him, so people pity gifted some teams in. We are up to 5 teams, and we would like to get to 8 because that would make it a nice round number. 12 is also okay, but
So that's 2 extra teams, not from us, right?
yes.
When you say okay,
Yes.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there was a couple other.
So, if you and another person would like to play in a 2v2 tournament, write in with your PlayStation IDs and the name of your team if you have one, and we'll be in touch, and we will set up a thing, and we'll play together, and it'll be good.
And I thought what we could do is we could even stream it live too when we have matches.
Yeah.
If it's
for
like
sure.
a CSG person playing against someone else, we could try to stream it.
Yeah, we definitely should. Was someone about to say something?
Yeah, I was. I just want to take this moment to be like, piss at Sony for like
Oh, okay.
not allowing you to change your gamer name.
Oh,
It
yes.
got created like 10 years ago now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
This
yours.
is
Yeah,
Mouse.
I never know that yours is you. Like, whenever you log in, I'm like, who the heck is this person? Oh, it's James. All right. That'll be easy this fall. Just be, who the heck? Oh, Fallout 4. All right. It's now time to thank people who support us on Patreon. Patreon is a way you give us money because we do such an awesome job bringing this podcast to you, and you want to show your appreciation in the only way that matters, money. You can go to patreon.com or Kickstarter, Joel. That's also valid.
You can start a Kickstarter to fund us.
But patreon.com/casualshenanigans. And if you pledge, Joel will have to read your name on the podcast in a funny voice of some sort. I mean, there's lots of other perks, but mostly just Joel reading your name. So someone has pledged. James, you got a voice for Joel?
I did. What was it? I can't remember right now.
Okay.
So, how about just like
I got one he's never done before.
I got one he's never done before too. Trust me.
Okay. What is it?
It's up to you.
All right.
How about a constipated rapper?
All right. That's good. I'm on board.
Like
A constipated rapper.
Oh, I gotta go. Wait, that's Michael Jackson.
All right, let's change it from constipated to I'm about to go
I'm about to go
in my
like-
pants,
Oh,
like diarrhea, holding it in.
okay. Who
Rap.
can someone give me a little beatbox? Beatbox. Dang.
You don't know anything about rap, do you? I mean, you went
First,
to
I
Michael
realized
Jackson.
first I realized it was beatbox. I've been saying beatbox for a long time.
All right. Well, it could be worse.
Yeah.
I mean, beat vocals. That's not terrible.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Could have said engines again. It could be a lot worse.
Thanks, guys.
Now, be honest. Do you think Michael Jackson was a rapper because he used to be black?
No. I don't know. I just went. I don't know why I did that. So,
All right.
okay, Jeremiah, you're gonna do the beatbox for me, okay?
Am I?
Yes.
All right.
I can't do it
What
once.
type of
while
beat do you
rapping.
want? What time signature?
Well, I don't know. Any kind of rap beat. They're all the same.
Wow. All right. I'm gonna do the worst one possible just for you.
Okay. Yo, we on the CSG podcast. No, gotta go really quick now. Thanks so much, Boxfish, for giving us lots of money. Thanks, guys.
I'm ashamed.
Quality audible content. guys.
Gosh.
Oh my. All right.
You know, by
so-
like episode 200, I'm gonna have just back to back me doing these random songs.
The album drops next year. Just a compilation.
Ringtone. Oh no, CSG out there.
No one asked for that.
All right. It is now time to start the show as we always do with our main topic. Dave, you did a song for us like a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
I don't remember this at all.
You went main topic time.
Actually, that would be kind of fun. Just like a super dramatic main topic.
All right. This has been teased for a while. We're going to be talking about Nintendo. This is something that's near and dear to all of our hearts. In kind of a love-hate relationship way from time to time, but Nintendo is something that is important to all of us. Now, James, before we talk about what went wrong with Nintendo and what we think should be done to fix Nintendo and how Nintendo got to where they are, do you think we should talk about some of our favorite memories with Nintendo? Should we start with that, or should we end with that?
Yeah, let's do it a little heavy in the front.
A little heavy in the front. All right.
Yeah,
Not gonna bury the lead.
start with the compliment and then really like rip into it.
Oh, start with a compliment. Oh, yeah. Let's do it. All right. So nice things first. So before we rip into Nintendo, spoilers, that's going to happen. We're going to talk about kind of a little bit of each of our histories with Nintendo very, very briefly. Joel, could you tell us about your life with Nintendo? What Nintendo means to you as a gamer?
Yeah, but first, I just want to put a shout out to Paul, who's going to listen to this, who's a Super Nintendo fan. I should say I'm sorry about this, Paul. I love Nintendo, but yeah, you're going to hate me. Okay, what I really like about Nintendo, or just like the really good memories I've had is, I mean, honestly, like growing up, for a lot of my like early childhood, we never had a Nintendo, but a lot of my friends did. And I do remember when we finally got one, it was like very, very late. I think everyone had already moved on to like Sega and Super NES, and we had just finally got a Nintendo, or people were kind of giving them away at the time. And we got this giant cardboard box with the old NES, and me and Jonah, we dusted all the controllers, and we even got a Power Glove in one of those. I mean, honestly, it was Christmas for us. Like, they're giving it away. It smelled like smoke. Their family was just huge smokers. It was just like, my mom almost didn't even allow us to have it because it was like, we're going to get cancer just by playing. And I was like, I'll deal with the cancer. It's video games.
You got to blow out the cartridge like
yeah.
in your face.
But we weren't allowed to play a lot, but anytime we would always push it to the limit. We would play as long as possible. So Saturday
Would you say
mornings,
you like walked along the razor's edge?
yeah, I walked the line.
No,
but
all right.
So my mom said we could play Saturday mornings, and like once they got up, we couldn't play anymore. So we would, I mean, no joke, get up at 4 a.m. and we would just play as long as possible. And honestly, there were some of the best times of my life. Like me and my brother just playing early in the morning. We had like bowls of cereal, and we'd play Super Mario, or we'd play Gauntlet together as a co-op game. And then there was, I forget what the game was, but it was like a little game where you're like 2 Jeeps and you're driving up this like pathway and you have to shoot stuff. And it's kind of like a G.I. Joe type game, but I mean, we just played it for just week after week after week, and then we'd try to play with the Power Glove, and we thought it was so cool. You know, you could do the finger things; they would never work, so we just used it as a D-pad. But yeah, I don't know, like that was definitely probably one of the best like childhood memories I've ever had.
Cool. Dave.
Yeah, I got to think about this today, and I realized that Nintendo is actually the only consoles I've ever owned personally, and also the only consoles I've ever bought. Kind of like Joel, I had the same scenario where my family collected Nintendos from yard sales. Like, I had at one point like 4 SNESs, 3 NESs. We'd like get these old, awful TVs to go with it. And Joel, you're going to make me laugh just looking at your face, trying not to laugh. James, what did you text him?
Nothing.
Would you text him, James?
Nothing. Keep going, Dave. I love your story.
Okay. No, I thought it was funny, Joel, like how similar our stories were. Like, my brother and I actually just, my parents' antique store that they owned, like we had our own like room that we were allowed to have. It was like a clubhouse. We had like 2 old TVs back there with the SNES and the NES. Like, it was Zelda, it was Mario Brothers, just nonstop. Even like this like old crappy SNES baseball game that we played a lot of because it's all we had. We were just like, save up our allowance and buy games at yard sales. And the only console up until this year that I ever actually purchased for myself was one year I saved all of my Christmas money and all my allowance for months ahead of time. And I think it was the day after Christmas, I went and bought a brand new GameCube. Rogue Squadron 2, just, oh man.
Good stuff. I still have that game.
That was such a great game. But as much as I really enjoyed the GameCube, and honestly, I'm having a hard time remembering now what other games I had besides Rogue Squadron because I just played so much of that.
I mean, that was a pretty good one, yeah.
Yeah, like it kind of like drowns out the rest. I mean, I'm never gonna forget those classic games in our like little clubhouse on the old TV. Just, I probably put like 100 hours into Zelda: Link to the Past, which is tough to do, I'd imagine. Like, looking back, I'd be like, what are you doing? There's nothing else here. Stop.
You're breaking pots, Dave. That's how you get into it. That's how it began.
I would clear forests of those bushes to look for coins. Dave. Like, the entire tile would be stripped bare for all the rupees.
Do you think that's where it started? Do you think that's just where this obsessiveness...
Yep.
Okay.
If I could pick a single game where my loot hoarding started, it would be Zelda: Link to the Past.
Nice. James, how about you?
Well, I actually started gaming on the Atari 2600, so I started at the very bottom of the barrel. And so when like
I started that way too.
Nice.
What is that?
Started there too.
I just feel like he was whipping that out, like, oh, hey guys, I started the Atari. We're talking about Nintendo, James.
All right, moving on.
The salt tonight.
Wow.
That's not salt. Stop saying salt. That's
Ooh, I know one of Joel's trigger words now.
No, don't
Moist
say it.
salt.
That salt and greasy.
And
Sorry,
moist.
James, sorry.
I'm sorry, Joel. Is it my turn? Is it my turn?
I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey guys,
go
don't
ahead.
pretend like we have a lot to talk about tonight or anything.
let me
This
take
is like
my turn.
the longest podcast we've ever done or anything. Whatever.
Let me take my turn, okay? So anyway, when the Nintendo came out, it was like leaps and bounds better than both Ataris that had come out. Actually, all 3 Ataris that had come out. And so I didn't actually have one, but I'd go over to my friend's house and we would just stay up all night and just play, Super Mario Brothers all the way through. Or, when Super Mario 3 came out, I remember spending a night and just I was gone like after like an hour. But he played all night and beat it.
That's cool.
But yeah, like playing like the trackpad and like doing the crazy things to make the guy run and jump and stuff. Let me see, what else did I put in my notes? Oh yeah, the first time I saw the SNES in the store, that was a pretty cool experience. Just like they had it on the little TV, little demos. Like, oh my gosh, I have to get that. And then I did. So, but I've had pretty much every Nintendo console except like the Virtual Boy. So
Yeah, and my favorites were, I didn't own one till the GameCube, but going over to a friend's house playing NES back in the day, we'd play through Mario and Duck Hunt. I think were the only things we played on that. And then another friend of mine got an N64, and that was kind of a big summer for us because all we did is Star Fox and Super Mario 64, and there was like some monster truck game that we played. I mean, not a ton of stuff, but for, a bunch of 6-year-olds, it was pretty amazing. And then I never owned a console, though. We always gamed on the PC, Master Race. But when our family's PC, once PC started needing to be faster and faster to play games, like a regular family desktop wasn't fast enough anymore in the early 2000s, I made the case to my parents that we should get a GameCube because at the time it was only $100 and there were tons of family-friendly games available and everything. So we picked up a GameCube, and I kind of invigorated me buying consoles, and I've had, I think, every single one since except the Wii U. And yeah, so I mostly played at other people's houses, but once I got a GameCube, it was really awesome because we could play that on the GameCube. Still got stuff like Medal of Honor.
Oh yeah, Medal of Honor.
It got real games, Need for Speed, Medal of Honor, stuff you could play with other people that wasn't Mario. So me and my brothers would play that all the time. Like 4-player, I think Medal of Honor, Rising Sun was our basically our GoldenEye for all intents and purposes.
yeah, I was going to bring that up. That I played a lot of GoldenEye when that came out.
Everyone played a lot of GoldenEye.
And then Perfect Dark.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Perfect Dark was amazing.
So those are our good memories. And if you notice, those are mostly memories of the late 90s to early 2000s, except for James. So now we're going to talk about how did Nintendo get to where they are now? Because mostly in regards to video games, because Nintendo was a game company for 100 years they've been around. They've only been video games fairly recently.
Yeah, they were a card game.
Yeah,
They made
so
cards and stuff.
we're only talking about Nintendo, the video game company. But James, how did Nintendo get to where they are now, where they don't have a lot of critical love? They've got a lot of hardcore fans still, but everyone seems to agree that things are just not going right. But it used to be Nintendo could do no wrong, and Nintendo was amazing and everything else. So what happened?
I think starting with the transition between the SNES and the GameCube, they started making a lot of bad choices.
So the N64 era?
Yeah, I mean, what basically created the PlayStation was their basically breaking off their partnership with Sony.
And they were always tough on partnerships too. Like putting out games on their platform was more complicated than putting it out anywhere
Right.
else's.
They had a very strict licensing thing, but which was good because the quality was at least there in a lot of their games. But
Right.
when
Yes.
when they ditched Sony, that gave Sony the green light basically to create the PlayStation and then create the competition. But I think since then they've just made a lot of bad choices. I mean, with the GameCube, they started out with a smaller disc format than their competitors. And I honestly think actually backing up, the Nintendo 64 was still cartridge based,
Which is very expensive to make.
when the PlayStation was disc based, and which could do FMV and stuff like that. And then GameCube went with its own proprietary format, a smaller disc. And then I honestly feel like the Wii was probably a fluke. Like it was a great idea, but it was a fluke. Like because if you look at their sales, they were just dip, 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 and then it just skyrockets.
Yeah.
And so
because of Wii Sports. That's it. That's
Pretty
why.
much. I mean, had they not had that gimmick, had that gimmick not worked, they probably would be worse off than they are even now. But I think the Wii U is kind of the path that they were probably going to be on anyway.
It definitely was something like, even like James, that makes so much sense. I mean, they got so lucky because it was something that everyone could easily relate to and try out. It was like, and essentially it was like going to a fair and trying something out where everyone, like your grandfather to the youngest kid, could all go, oh, try this new thing out. Like, just try it once. And it was so easy to do and simple that it sold so many. And I mean, Joy's parents, they bought it just for Wii Sports. I mean, that is it. Most people I know, they just play bowling. They've never gotten another game in their life. And I think there were a lot of cool things you could do with the Wii remote controllers, and there was a lot of neat things. And I think, that definitely transitioned to a lot of adding like motion sensors in lots of devices. I mean, like there was devices before that had it, but I think the Wii really made it like, oh wow, let's definitely have that kind of sensors and stuff. But it wasn't as practical as I think people like, like, oh, this is gonna be great for everything. No, it sucked for a lot of things. It was just really good for a few things, and so they got really extra lucky that it just was like, honestly, it was like the Angry Birds of consoles.
Now, in my opinion, the Wii is where Nintendo started going wrong, even though it was a massive commercial success. Because for me, again, the GameCube was my first Nintendo console, but it was still a good console. It was cheap. The graphics were just as good, pretty much, and it got all the major AAA games.
Yep.
So controllers were cheap.
Yeah.
Console was cheap. It was small. And I had James Bond, Need for Speed, Call of Duty, Medal of Honor. Like pretty much everything I wanted to play was available for the same price, pretty much the same graphics and similar control scheme.
They were actually able to pull out some good third-party exclusives too, like Resident Evil 4.
Oh yeah,
started on the
that
GameCube.
was the best on the GameCube. I mean, it looked the best until it came out on the PC.
I played Resident Evil 4 on the Wii actually when it came out.
Huh.
I missed it. I never had a GameCube. That game was amazing.
So what they did right with the Wii was, I mean, the innovative control scheme is very cool, but as we discovered, the innovative control scheme only really worked well for certain types of games.
And if you're very innovative, like you said, like you have to be very innovative to make it work. And they were, but not everyone was innovative, so it quickly became waggle the controller.
It became shovelware.
Everything. Yeah,
it became shovelware.
They let any and everything get onto their console,
which is funny because that was not what they did in the late 80s and early 90s. It was like they drove a lot of their partners away. Then they made a gimmicky console. And then I don't know if they begged people to come back or they just started accepting any gimmick because they didn't have games coming out. But they were selling so many, it would be a bad business decision to say, hey, we need to evaluate what's happening here because this isn't the console we want. Maybe it was the console they want. We don't know. That's part of the problem with Nintendo is you can't tell if they like what they're doing or they hate it.
Well, the thing is, within Wii's life cycle, they had 2 Zelda games that were on it. Mm-hmm. Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword that were both phenomenal games. I loved it. Plus 2 insanely good Zelda games are on DS. Really good games. Now, the Wii U, we have one reboot or one remake HD of it, which I mean is a great game, but it's a remake. And then we
also had 2 Marios on the Wii.
Yeah, we did have we had 2.
We had 3 Marios actually.
We had 2 2D Marios and then 2 Mario Galaxy games on it.
Yeah, and so the Wii U's Mario 3D Land's really just kind of
that's it. Just
a little bit of a reconfiguration of the 3DS game.
So it doesn't feel like we've gotten to the next generation of Mario games. Like I was really expecting the Wii U to have like the next version of Mario Galaxy. Maybe not Mario Galaxy, but the next one that's like
let's stick to the Wii for now because I'm going somewhere with this. So the Wii, decently powerful.
You forgot one of its major flaws.
Okay.
EDTV.
What's that?
Enhanced definition instead of high definition.
Oh, standard
480p.
Def. Yeah,
it's 480p.
And P, which is nice, like a progressive scan. Okay, that's a small plus. But for Nintendo's art style, that's not necessarily bad. But when everyone's making the switch to high definition, it does look bad when people are playing on Xbox 360s and PS3s, and you're playing on still at standard def. I mean, the games are still fun. A fun game is a fun game, but they were definitely behind the curve. And it seems like a bizarre choice to make, especially because the Wii came out in 06 or 07? I mean, HD had been out for 5 years already. Like in the popular mainstream.
They weren't even behind the curve. It was just like they said we just don't feel like it's that important. We don't feel like people care. Like,
because at
that's
the time,
not being behind the curve. That's well, I mean, but you have to imagine your console life cycle is going to be more than a year or 2.
That's the thing, and that's what I think is Nintendo's big problem. I don't think they thought about it. I think they really were throwing stuff at the wall to see what stuck. Because
if you guys ever read the Iwata Asks blogs,
no.
They were amazing. If you can still look at them now, but I think it'd be like once a month about different games, but there's one that sits down with the developers, the engineers that built the Wii, and they talked about one of the things they said, we want this to fit within 3 DVD disc cases. It has to. That's the mark. That we want to make this thing freaking small. I think they wanted it to be really, really small. They wanted it to be like enticingly small. And But anyways, it's a really interesting article here in it, but then they go on to talk about like HD and stuff, and they just said they didn't think it was going to catch on that quick. Mm-hmm. So they did think about it, but they definitely overshoot. And the same thing happened to the Wii U about the tablets. They did not think tablets were going to be so mainstream. They thought the Wii U might have been the more like, that's the thing that maybe drives it, but no, they were behind.
I don't think that's the only thing that's killing the Wii U, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that, yeah. So with the Wii, I mean, it's nice that it's small. I mean, that is nice, honestly. And they basically reused the GameCube's graphics processing, more or less.
Yeah, they just boost up a few hundred megahertz, but not anything exciting.
That did let them keep it cheap, which is something Nintendo has always been pretty good about. It was a cheap, accessible console when you could buy it. I also think they kind of made a dumb decision by... the forced scarcity for a while. They tend to do that with their stuff, and I don't really get... I mean, the Wii had plenty of demand. Like, I don't think it needed forced demand. But, yeah.
I don't know if it was forced, because it was... I remember having to get in line.
Oh, no, for a while it wasn't. But then there was plenty of really smoky rumors that they kept that going longer than they needed to. Just because that was kind of the thing, is when you saw a Wii, you bought a Wii because you weren't going to get a chance to get another one. And I think some people were buying it on hype more than on actually wanting to play anything on it, because all they were buying it for was the sports. But still, they were still making tons of money, and the Wii was still incredibly successful. I think we would all agree Nintendo really went off the rails in the last 3 years. That's when Nintendo actually started to crash and burn. Would you guys agree?
Let me read these sales figures. And I'm just talking hardware, like consoles, not like handhelds, because that's just a completely different game for them. So the NES sold 61 million, the SNES sold 49, the Nintendo 64 sold 32, the GameCube sold 21, and then the Wii sold 101. So that's why. And now the Wii's sitting at 10. Ooh. And so we're looking at that's why I honestly think it's a fluke. I don't think it was a matter of them actually they're coming back,
which kind of makes sense. So we'll talk about the Wii U in a minute, but let's park there. So they kind of came out with a bunch of new IP around the NES and SNES era. Mm-hmm. How much new IP have they made since then? They came out with a bunch of concepts that they've been releasing good games. They've been releasing good games for them.
The thing
they've
is,
been putting out the same games.
The new IPs, they don't feel like necessarily new IPs. I mean, like Animal Crossing is not, in the Nintendo family, per se. It wasn't part of the history, but it has that same
Nintendo feel,
me-ish, Nintendo feel. And so they're making a lot of games that are just kind of like very kiddie.
But yeah, so they, in my opinion, they stopped, they really slowed down on the unique stuff they're making, and they're just they do take new gameplay concepts and new graphical technologies and new interesting ideas, and they apply them to their existing IPs, which is cool in a sense, because you're getting something familiar that you're getting a new Mario game with a new mechanic that you're not familiar with, like when everything went to 3D, or when you had the rotating worlds and stuff like that, or Mario Maker now. That's undeniably cool. And it's nice to have something you're familiar with that's also introducing you to something new. But I agree with you. The Wii was pretty definitely a fluke. And I think they made the PS3 and Xbox One mistake. They got a fluke and thought, sweet, we're back. And when it came time to come out with a new console, they could have said, all right, what did we do wrong with the Wii and what can we fix on it? Or they could have said, we sold 110 million or 100 million units. Do we double down? And what followed was one of the worst console launches in history, because a lot of people didn't know they even launched a new console. They thought it was a peripheral for the existing one.
You guys remember the first E3 about it, right?
Yeah, people.
They didn't even show off the console part of it. It was just the handheld. I thought it was literally. I was like, is this just connecting to the Wii? And I'm like, I would say I know tech stuff, especially when it comes to consoles. And I'm like, what? If I'm going to be confused, I can't imagine them trillions of moms and dads are like, does my son want, well, I think he already has that,
I mean, journalists, it's bad because journalists came away from E3 going, I'm pretty sure it's a new console. They said it's a new console. They didn't show it to us. Is it just the tablet? Is that the whole console? So is this a new handheld? Or is it a controller for the Wii? What on earth is going to happen with that? That's a terrible launch when people aren't even sure what the product is. It doesn't help that the console looks pretty similar to the Wii already. And then the name Wii U, like it's an European police siren or something. Like, why not Wii 2 or pretty much any other name, because the Wii is a dumb name. Like, what were they thinking?
I have a feeling that they just go, you know what, people are starting to replace the word Nintendo. I mean, my mom she used to always say any console I had, PS4, Xbox, anything. It's like, what do you play on your Nintendo? It was always Nintendo is the word for console. But then after the Wii came out, it was Wii. Oh, do you have it on your Wii? Even when I said I was editing a project, she was like, oh, what you doing on the Wii? Because he figured that was the technological device that you use for almost everything. So I think they were almost thinking that Wii was taking over the brand of just Nintendo. So it's like, let's not change it up and be like the next one called the Super Boost NX.
The Super Wii.
I don't know. Yeah, the Super. Yeah, I don't know. Something that was majorly different. The Super Wii.
Or the Wii 2 or anything, but Wii U is just kind of a weird name.
It also used the Wii's controllers, which added to the confusion. Well, like you had the main person, like in this, everybody else uses the same Wiimotes.
Yeah, you can use the same Wiimotes or the same classic or Pro controller, whatever it's called.
Yeah, they have the Pro wireless controller.
Can you still play GameCube games?
No.
No, you can't. Okay, they finally cut that out. But I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's a Wii with a different controller. Like, that is what it is. I mean, it's HD, technically.
I would say it's essentially like you have an iPhone 4 to an iPhone 4S. So the 4S does have a faster processor. It's got like a couple new features, things like that. Where it's faster, you can play better games on it, but it essentially looks the same, feels the same. You know what I mean? And for most people, if they're not using the new advanced capabilities of it, it's going to be the same thing to them. And you're right, James, about the controllers. Like, that kind of pissed me off because it's like they should have sold that gamepad separately. And so it felt like, oh, do you want something separately? You want to just be able to lay in bed, play it, not have to use the TV. But because they made the gamepad only, the amount of time that people come over and go, oh, where's the other controller? I'm like, oh, you use this. I'm like, why am I using this? They felt like they were gypped, like they got the third-party controller.
Imagine two kids. Imagine having two kids. Controller. Imagine having two kids, Joel.
Oh gosh, yeah. Because they don't even allow two of them. You know what I mean? And I'm like, then that would be insanely expensive if you had two of them.
Well, they also sold the feature that you could turn your console off and just play on that, but the range was like 15 feet, and then it's done.
You can sit in front of your TV and play on the smaller screen.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
I mean, there's been a lot of posts of people like sitting in their bathrooms playing it on the can, but I mean, one, that's kind of gross. But two, like, that's not that great of a feature, guys. Like, that's not that cool.
The only
Put that in the back of the box.
The only time it was maybe helpful is Joey was watching the show and I played a little bit of Zelda on it, but then it was also frustrating because I'm like, well, now I got to get headphones because I'm not going to play the music loud because she's watching the show.
Oh no, Joel has to get up.
Well,
how much Joel hates getting up.
But then it feels really dumb sitting there like right beside her on the couch with headphones on playing a game. I was just like, yeah, but I would have played upstairs, but it doesn't work upstairs. It only works
so you told her to turn the TV off and leave?
Yeah, no, then I played
a game. But even then, okay, so they put out a new console, which people were still confused about. They still had a chance to rescue it. What did Nintendo do? We don't know, but they sure as heck didn't release any games.
Oh, guys, you remember the groundbreaking first game that came out?
No.
Do you guys know what the groundbreaking?
Zombie U?
No. The first Nintendo game.
Was it
Super
Nintendo
Mario Land. Just a 2D side-scroller game.
I don't remember
that's not
that.
Super Mario Land.
It was, there was a
Super
2D
Mario
side-scroller
Brothers?
game.
New Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah, it's New Super Mario Brothers. There we
That
go.
was on the Wii, though. Was that on the Wii?
They had it on the Wii U
They
also.
brought a version on the Wii U. I mean, it was a new game. Like, it was new levels and stuff. But I'm like, yay, I've got an HD... Who cares? You're playing a 2D game. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, oh, I was so pissed. Like, that's what you show off. Guys, new graphics. And, like, yeah. So stupid.
So at this point, when the Wii came out, they kind of lost a lot of their third-party games that they still had on the GameCube because no one wanted to make Mass Effect with a wiggly controller. Like, no one wanted to make a racing games with a wiggly controller because a wiggly controller isn't good for stuff.
Yeah, there were a lot of bad games. Like,
the problem with any add-on peripheral, what they should have done is put the Pro controller in the box. Add-on peripherals all fail. Every single one of them fails. None of them have been huge successes. PlayStation Move, Kinect, Power Glove, the stupid
PlayStation
gun
2
for
I
Duck
actually
Hunt.
did good. That's like the only one.
relatively.
did pretty good. I remember everybody had those
the
things.
PlayStation
playing
add-on
Dance.
hard drive, the PlayStation modem for online play, the GameCube modem for
the
online play.
PlayStation.
Oh, I forgot
remember
about that.
Yeah, exactly. Get where I'm going with this? Add-on peripherals aren't ever successful. They could have kept some of
Except
those.
the light gun,
And
for
the
Nintendo?
N64
the zapper,
expansion
the
pack.
zapper.
The Duck Hunt gun.
Yep.
What else did
remember
you use
that-
it on besides Duck Hunt? Because that's all I ever played with it.
I think there's a few other games.
Okay, big
I've only
success.
played Duncan with it.
But so that's kind of where they lost all their third-party people. Is no one's going to develop for a controller that people aren't going to buy, and no one wants to develop for a controller that makes complete sense. I mean, it's hard enough to port a game from system to system. That's hard and expensive. Having to come up with a completely different control scheme for the game, that's stupid. Why would a company want to downgrade to standard definition and come up with a dumber control scheme just to sell on a system that has a terrible attach rate? See, attach rate's another important thing. It doesn't matter that so many people bought Wiis. If you took out all the copies of Wii Sports, the attach rate, meaning how many games you buy per console, was less than 1, which means most people just played the game that came in the box. That's bad. Like, I mean, the Vita has only sold, 10 million units, but it has an attach rate of like 7 or something. People buy tons of games for the Vita. No one bought anything for the Wii. And so people stopped making stuff for the Wii U, and now there isn't anything for the Wii U. Sorry, James, go ahead.
I was gonna say something. I got pissed about the controller for the gamepad for Wii U, the triggers. Right, not only are you trying to get people that maybe play on PC or whatever to play on a controller, and you got a new touchpad. No, the thumb controllers, like the triggers, usually that are analog on most controllers that have been out since 2004 and 5 or been on PC for like forever. No, they decided to make them just straight up buttons, just hard click buttons. So if you play Mario Kart or any kind of racing game anyone wants to port, you either all the way or off. Like, there is no, like, pull the trigger a little bit to, like, drive. I love that in racing games. You can kind of, when you're cornering, you kind of let off a little bit, but you're still going. Nope, can't do that on this game.
Wow.
Who wants to freaking buy it? And then the Pro Controller.
What game are you cornering with?
I'm saying on 360. Let's say you have Dirt that comes out, and, well, who's going to want to play Dirt on the Wii U? The controller's worse. It's like here. I mean, not only are you going to get crappier graphics on the Wii U because it can't handle it, you're going to get a worse experience because the controller sucks. And then the gamepad, the special Pro controller, still doesn't have analog triggers. And then you have to turn it on using the gamepad. Use you have to switch it over, do the settings because you can't do it without the gamepad. You have to do settings on the gamepad. Can't do it with any other controllers. Like, oh gosh, it's so stupid. I don't know what they're thinking. Or probably not thinking.
What I was going to say is, I know when, you remember Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
Yeah.
That was a pretty big game. Like, it was fun to get 4 people to sit around and play it. It did awful on the Wii. Like, whatever they did with the controls, like, it was really bad. And I guess going down to standard definition never helps.
I mean, it doesn't. But, so, and here is, like, the final thing of what's wrong with Nintendo. If they have a vision for the future, we don't know what it is. Right now, it seems like they're just throwing stuff to see what sticks. They're doing Amiibos and Skylanders and Disney Infinity, and they're doing lots of stuff that are great for little kids who are going to grow up and buy a real console at some point. I mean, I know it kind of seems selfish to go, what are they doing for us, the people who grew up playing them? But for real, if you want people to buy your next console, you got to have to kind of grow with them. It's fine to have Mario games. We all like Mario. We've all played Mario. Everyone I know gets a Wii, gets Donkey Kong and Mario Party.
I love more of those.
We all get it. But why would you buy it just to play those? Because you've played those. You played those when you were 10, and you played them when you were 15, and you played them when you're 20, and now we're all between 25 and old. And... Why do we want to buy this again? Like, yeah, it's still fun, but what new stuff do you have? What are you showing? This is an anecdote. I'm sorry, James, go ahead.
I think at this point they are purposely holding stuff back.
I hope so.
Because some of their stuff, there's no reason to hold back. Like their virtual console, their store.
Yeah.
Like there's so many games. Games that are even on the Wii that aren't making it to the Wii U. That there's just no reason for them not to put it on there unless they're purposely doing it to get ready for the next console launch or the next thing they're going to offer. I mean, holding back Zelda, holding back Metroid. Literally, they announced
Holding back their
nothing
biggest
of-
franchises, though. That's like Microsoft saying, we don't know if we're going to put Halo out on this console generation, or maybe we're not going to do a Forza or a Gears of War, or like that would be crazy. That would be kind of like Sony not talking about Gran Turismo. I mean, like some of your huge storied franchises, you put those out to guarantee that people will buy your system, so they'll hopefully play everything else on it. You need those big names, and then hopefully, in each like console generation, you'll get a couple new IPs that will make people excited. So, but this is just anecdotal, but I thought this kind of struck me weird. I was in New York City this past week, and we were in Rockefeller Center, and there's a bunch of like big stores. I went to the Lego store in New York City, and right next door was the Nintendo store, Nintendo World. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Let's go to Nintendo World. All right, I walk into Nintendo World, and this is like their flagship New York City store, okay? Middle of Manhattan. On the first floor, Amiibos everywhere, because they're basically a Beanie Baby company right now. But the first store is just like Nintendo swag. That's understandable. Stuff you can buy at the gift shop. Go upstairs. They have like 8 set-up TVs you can play. You can play Mario Kart. You can play Mario Party. And then in the what's coming new section, Splatoon. That's it. That's all they have to show off is Splatoon. They have a wall.
What's coming? That's been out for a while.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all they're showing off. Oh, yeah. Splatoon came out like a couple months ago. Well, they were showing it off on like 3 TVs. I got the impression it was coming out soon. And then they had a big wall with all the Wii U games that have come out. Not a huge wall, but a big wall with all the Wii U games that have come out so far. And then they had giant stickers that said Amiibo on all the different ones that had Amiibo on them. The only part of the store that wasn't related to Amiibos, Pokemon, or selling souvenirs was the one section, which I really did enjoy. They had a laid out thing of every console they've ever made in a big glass case, and every handheld they've ever made in a big glass case. So that's every version of every console and every version of every handheld. And on the consoles, it was all the Zelda stuff they've put out on each system. So they had all the Zelda games, merchandise, re-releases, everything like in this big glass case. And that was pretty cool. Of course, when you get to the Wii U one, it just shows a re-release of a game that came out on the GameCube. But so that was decently cool, but there was nothing that said, all right, this is what's new for Nintendo. This is what's coming for Nintendo. This is why you should be excited. This is why you should buy a Wii U right now. It was, look at all this stuff we did.
Yeah. It's like a museum, not a store.
It was more like a museum.
That's so sad.
The nostalgic part of me thought it was cool, like getting to see all those consoles, but the part of me that spends money on stuff did not leave. I mean, I left the Lego store thinking like, man, if I had a couple $1,000s to blow right now, like I could make some stuff happen here. And that's Legos. Like Legos, they haven't changed their formula in decades and it still works. But Nintendo, walking around that store, I was like, unless I want Amiibos, why am I here? Like, they don't make games for people who want to play anything other than Nintendo games. Like that's all they make. That's all they make anymore. They've driven everyone else away. So now they just have to, piteously crank out first-party games, which they don't have enough studios to do.
They're not even doing that either.
They're not really doing it, but the games that are coming out are those. So here's what's coming out in the next couple months on the Wii U. This is all of the games. LBX, Little Battlers. That's on the 3DS. I'm just going to read Wii U ones. Disney Infinity 3.0, Super Mario Maker, Skylanders, Lego Dimensions, Yoshi's Woolly World, Just Dance, Guitar Hero, Xenoblade Chronicles. That's the rest of this year.
And can I make a quick rant about the Mario Maker, which I was actually excited to just hear more about?
Yeah.
It came out, and apparently, when you first play it, everything is
This is so stupid.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, James. Everything's in a category, and when you first play, you get like 8 terrain tiles and 4 enemies to like build levels with, and you have to like spend a certain number of hours in the editor to unlock more things to use in your levels. Why is that necessary? Why can't there be a tutorial mode or a beginner mode that's limited? Just, I wanted to create Mario levels, not...
How many days did it unlock over?
I think it was 10 days.
I mean, it's so bad. While you guys looking that
Why
up,
don't they just let it unlock as you do a tutorial? You know what I mean? Like, as you do the tutorial, learn how to use it, then it just keeps giving you more stuff. Not, I gotta wait 10 days.
if I was trying to get if I had kids right now and I was trying to yard sale them a console or something, get them their first game console, I'd buy a PS2. 1 billion games, more or less. I'm rounding off, but about 1 billion games. You can buy them for $20. You'll never run out of stuff to play. Like, I would never buy them a Wii or a Wii U because they're going to get tired of Mario at some point. Like, they don't have the nostalgic childhood connection sucking them into it. James, do you have numbers on that?
Yeah, it unlocks over 9 days. So what it does is just it gives you little chunks every day, I guess.
Like, okay, the game Animal Crossing, right? That game is about 365 days, and something new happens every day, right? That game's not meant to be played in like 10-hour sections, right? Like, 'cause there's not that much to do in it. You come back each day, and it's like, and Joy and I, we've really enjoyed those games because we come back New Year's Eve or Christmas or various holidays and stuff, and new characters will show up, and it's just like one of those kind of like, it's like a fun little like almost Gigapet thing. But for something like that, we're like, oh, I'm ready to get into it. Why? That's so dumb.
They're also not allowing people to stream their games.
That's
Super Mario.
That's a huge thing. I like Jack brought that up in the comments. Yeah, that's a big thing we should definitely talk about. The internet has been huge. Minecraft would not be Minecraft if it wasn't for YouTube. I mean, that's Call of Duty probably wouldn't be Call of Duty without YouTube.
DayZ would be nothing.
You need people, you need people streaming and playing your game and talking about it to get people excited. You have to do that in this day and age. But Nintendo, they're so out of touch. I think all they can see is what people are buying. They're buying amiibos. Give them all the amiibos. They're going to buy this weird controller scheme. Good. We're not making anything else for it. Like, they're not buying the Wii U, so they're now going, okay, stop putting games out on it. Ditch that. I mean, they'll still try to sell it for a couple years because we need money. But let's start working on the next thing. Like, I think they're only motivated by stuff that's selling right now, which is from a quarter-to-quarter standpoint might be okay, but the quarters aren't going that well. But long-term, this is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. But we have not come to you with just complaints. First, before we move on to the next section, does anyone have any further rants you want to get about
Yes,
Nintendo?
I do.
This is the time. Just like empty it out. Empty the mag.
So yeah, I think the latest rumors have been they're really going to start focusing on a theme park. Like, I heard something about them working with Universal to make like Mario Kart rides and stuff like that.
I mean, that'd be undeniably cool. But
Except if the kids don't know what they are by the time that comes out, it won't matter.
That's sad.
I mean, my son loves the Mario games. He still loves all those games, and he does enjoy the Wii U. But he also enjoys the PS4 and the Xbox One more. So
he's old enough to play real games.
But if we look at all that, I mean, their E3 was a disaster. Like, it was, I mean, if you heard the rant, we ranted for quite a while about it. I think they're a company that just doesn't listen to their constituents, doesn't listen to
they listen to money.
Consumers.
That's what they listen to. They're not listening to journalists, players, tech industry analysts. Like, all they're listening to is accountants, apparently. Stupid accountants.
I think what most frustrated me on E3 was that, okay, you have Valve. They're doing very well with Steam. They're making lots of money. They don't have to release games. I understand that. I mean, to make money, to stay in business, right? Nintendo, I'm going, okay, you know what? We are hearing about Zelda. I know it takes a long time. I want a really good game, right? I don't want them to rush games out. It's not that I want that. But I'm thinking, okay, you guys are doing really bad. Get more developers making freaking games. And not all, hey, let's just do another 2D game on a... Don't make your system HD if you're not going to do anything with HD. Like, I don't understand that. It's like every game is 2D games.
Well, 3D... remember how 3DS was a gimmick, too?
Yeah.
We're talking about consoles, but... the 3DS, I mean, the feature was great, but nobody did anything with it, really, other than just to make it look 3D.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say, honestly, I don't agree with that, because I had a 3DS, and the 3D was amazing. Once you get used to it, honestly, it's...
Did you use it all the time?
Every single time I played. It was
I think
amazing.
you're in the minority.
No, there's a lot. I mean, almost a lot of people, and especially the new one. I think that technology is incredible, and I can't wait for it to. Because honestly, like when you go back to 2D, you're like, oh man, it's so flat after a while. But I mean, they had a lot of really good games on the 3DS. But it's like the Wii U. I wanted to see a really awesome graphics for Metroid. I wanted to see a new Zelda game. I wanted to see a Super Mario. Like, but they just don't. I don't think they get us. They don't. They go, oh, we'll trickle it out every once in a while and take your beloved franchises and we'll turn it to amiibos. I'm like, what the heck? Kids don't care if amiibos is on Nintendo or if it's on PS4 or if it's on a brand new console that's by a no-name thing. If it's Skylanders on that, they would play it on whatever it is. Yeah.
So,
stupid.
but now we're going to talk about what we think Nintendo should do to fix themselves. Because we wouldn't be upset if we didn't care about Nintendo. We care about Nintendo. We want Nintendo to be better.
And that's why we're so angry. That's why.
Want to help you?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be this angry if I didn't care about Nintendo.
I want to go last.
Is this the intervention stage right here?
This is the intervention stage. Nintendo, we need to talk. Here's my suggestion, and it's simple. Nintendo has an awesome first-party library. I don't think they need to get rid of the first-party library. I think they should keep it. I think they should keep putting games out for it. But you need other games. I will never buy a Nintendo product over a Sony or Microsoft product. Like, I'll buy it only after I've bought all the others and I find it in a thrift store. That's my current mentality. Actually, right now, I don't even care about anything on the Wii U. But if I could play most of the same games I can play on the other systems, and I can play all the Mario games, I'm interested. So I think they need to return to a traditional controller system. The Pro Controller is a fine controller. Make a good quality version of that.
With analog triggers.
Yes, with analog triggers. Match the PS4 specs, or heck, the Xbox One if you have to. Make it x86. Give it 8 gigs of RAM. Make it be able to handle at least 720p at 30 FPS.
Use Blu-ray.
Use Blu-ray. Sell it for $300. Have an online system that people can actually sign up for and use, at least just to play multiplayer games. So you can have Call of Duty, and you can have Madden, and you can have FIFA and everything else. Do that. That's it. Basically, conform to everyone else, and then still put out all the awesome first-party games. Still make them. You can even make your controller can have the motion capabilities in it if you want to do like the Donkey Kong stuff, or you want to do the jumping and the twisting. You can do that with a regular controller. Just make it regular. Make it something that other people want to develop for, and make the system run off similar specs so other people will actually want to develop for it. A Nintendo platform would be amazing for indies. All these indie games that are coming out for the Xbox and for the PlayStation. I mean, the PlayStation's awesome for indie games. The Wii U could play all of those, but no one wants to port them to it. Make your next system something you could get all those indies on. That would fill all the gaps in, help fill all the gaps when you don't have AAA first-party titles or third-party titles. That's what I think they should do. Joel.
I agree a lot with Jeremiah. They need to do something with graphics. Because, I mean, I don't want... the part I like about Nintendo is I like that they keep a lot of their core ideas on their system. Because, I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to have it on PS4 and other things just for, like, oh, it's all on one device. That would be really nice in a way. But I do like that they do own their own kind of universe and Nintendo that they can do. They can spend extra time they want to do. They can make their games kiddie and not have to worry about, like, I don't know, sticking with the times on certain things. But also, it's like, I want to know that, I don't know, the only games I will buy on Nintendo are just strictly Nintendo games. There's no reason I would ever want to buy any other game on it because it's going to run worse. So first, get with the times on that. Have a good competing price, for the graphics you have. The simple controller, keep with a standard. I think, especially with, like, even movies now, like even with hearing about Star Wars going back to props and stuff like that. Nintendo, go back to games that were actually, like, not just so effing easy that every child can beat. People do enjoy challenges, like make the game
or frustratingly hard, like Donkey Kong, where it just beats you over the head the whole time.
Like, I don't know. I mean, like, have a mix of it. Have more open world stuff. Use the graphics for something other than 2D games. Because I like how everyone says, like, oh, here's a retro game. I'm like, no, there's no such as retro anymore. There's literally no such thing as retro. Because we have 2D games now. That's not retro. That means it's, a year ago old? You know what I mean? That's stupid. It's like, there's no such as retro. Everything's retro now. And then online capabilities, like with the Mario Maker thing, probably wouldn't spend time making the levels, but hell yes, I would download all of it. It was like Trials HD. You quickly download a level where somebody random made, and it's like insane hard. You get to try all these levels. You see everyone else's work for free, basically. No, it's not going to work.
And you can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's not going to work like that. You're going to have to enter a 15-key password, have a dongle plugged in, call your friend, hey, is it all right? Because, you don't want to get like, I don't know, like child molestation, because like, they're scared of like, since kids are playing on a Wii, that you're gonna get online with some random person.
Kids are playing on PlayStation 4s.
But it's totally fine for being on a PS4 or an Xbox One. I'm like, so freaking stupid.
Parents have no responsibility there, just
Joel, was this your positive outlook?
yeah, fixing Nintendo. Sorry, fixing Nintendo.
Sorry. This is fake. I'm saying I want them to get with the times with online. Like, make it a really good UI. It doesn't have to be bubbly and Mario jumping around to sort through menus. It can be an actual main slick UI. And I like, even like the 3DS, it's got a great menu. Nope, Wii U has the crappiest menu ever, because you're looking at something on the screen and then you swap, and like, I want to see it on the big screen, but if you swap to the big screen, you can't control that. You can only control what's on your gamepad. So like, I don't know, like you don't have to be so bubbly. I would like just pop it in, know you're gonna be able to play a game, and please offer NES games for a cheap price, like apps, like the App Store on the iPhone. Just 99 cents, I want to play Contra. 99 cents, I want to play Duck Hunt. 99 cents, I want to play Zelda, whatever. Like, make it a really, even if it was $3.99 or $2.99 for like a more well-known game, but like, I want to have a cool library. I want to play all these games that us as Nintendo people that we've been growing up with are still going to like. Because I can guarantee you, Nintendo, kids that are grown up now, they don't give a crap about Metroid or any of those games that are 25 freaking years old.
That's only nostalgia. Yeah, kids these days, like James, your kids, Metroid has never been a thing for them, has it? Unless they play old stuff. Yeah. Mario only has, because they won't stop putting those out. But is Zelda a thing for them? Unless they play old versions?
He likes Zelda.
Which ones?
What does he play, though?
He's played a little bit of Skyward Sword.
Okay.
And Wind Waker.
Okay.
But I would say he probably likes the game, but doesn't really care
games.
that it's Zelda, though, I would say.
But I've also played the remakes, the 3DS remakes.
Okay.
The Ocarina and Majora's Mask.
Mm-hmm. Dave, how about you?
I mean, mine's real simple, because I've been out of the loop for Nintendo for over a decade now. All I want is a big library of games, and then backwards compatibility are my two things. So I guess it's just games and more games. A cheaper price would be good, but if they came out and said, you can play all your childhood games, and we're going to have all these new first-party and third-party games for our system, I'd pay PS4 prices for it. I just want to hear Nintendo in the news again, with people being excited about it. Is all I want.
Would you? I don't want to go back negative, but would you trust them at this point if they said we're going to do that? If they said, buy our full price console, we're going to have third party. I think because they said that also.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were going to have Batman and Mass Effect 3, only 3, and like all kinds of other stuff. And some of that did come out, but like that was it. Everything they showed in the press conference, that was their entire third party lineup. No one else cared. James, I think it's your turn.
All right. Well, I have the most radical idea that everybody hates to hear. I would really like them for their bigger games to go third party, to release on other consoles. Mm-hmm. And the reasons why, I don't think they love making the hardware anymore, necessarily. I think they love making the games, and you can see the love that they put into the games, but to me, everything else feels kind of just there, hoping something will catch. Like you said, throwing something against the wall, seeing it'll stick. But the games are still pretty solid. I mean, they could use a little bit of rebooting, like Mario Party's gotten a little stale. But imagine if they had, for them it would be like unlimited hardware to work on, going to, a PS4 and an Xbox. But it's also, the level of profit for them, since their profit in hardware is gone, at least on their console, I think they're not going to be able to push enough software on their own systems at this point.
They're not pushing enough systems to be able to push enough software. Like, it doesn't matter how many systems. I mean, it doesn't matter how much software they could sell. Even if they sold like a copy of Mario to half of everyone who bought a Wii U, which is way better attach rate than you ever get on something, that'd only be 5 million units. Like, that's a hit, but it's not a blown away hit. It's literally impossible for them to have a Grand Theft Auto 5 style hit on their console because they don't have enough consoles.
Right.
If every single person bought it, they still wouldn't have sold enough to have a smash hit. So
I think the only way they could blow my mind is if the next console. I mean, it was ridiculous. If it was 16 gigs of RAM, like it was something they showed off. Oh yeah, you guys want Zelda, and you're just like, what the F? And it's just like, oh yeah, here you guys,
but
4K
they're never
ready.
they're never
Something just
they're never
insane.
going to do that
Yeah,
though.
but they
That's the
would,
thing.
yeah. But that
They're
right
never
there would
gonna
be
make-
like, all right, I'm all in. But no, they're not going to do that.
Like Zelda God of War.
I don't know if their studios have necessarily the talent to do graphically those kind of games. Like they kind of peaked like when they got around the Twilight Princess, and they made things that looked nice, but it wasn't ever like. I mean,
The workflow for modern games on traditional systems and PC is very different from Nintendo's. They're on almost like a mobile workflow for their visual style. I mean, the process of creating modern game art is really intense. And I know that they have talented people at Nintendo. I'm not trying to disparage their artists or anything, but it would be a really big shift. I don't think it would happen quickly.
yeah, I mean that's why I don't think they're ever going to go realistic with Zelda. They're never going to go super high, quality with Mario. It's just I just don't think it's going to happen with their studios.
I mean, I don't want a gritty Zelda. I would love to see a Twilight Princess in 1080p, or even like if they did something crazy like 4K Zelda, something like that. I would love it. I don't need a Witcher.
Well, it doesn't have to be gritty. I mean, but if it's like Kingdoms of Amalur quality,
yeah, yeah. I'm just like, I would love that, but it's like, I don't think they'll ever do it. I mean, their monsters and villains and stuff like that in those games are really well done, and they kind of push the graphics for that system. But like, yeah, I can't see them. I feel like they're always like 4 years behind, but the best quality of 4 years behind, if that makes sense. Like, they do really high good quality.
Games like Ni no Kuni come out and look gorgeous, and they kind of make Nintendo style look a little dated, even though it's the same style. Anyway, so go third party with their big games. 2 consoles. Not completely get out of the console business, or not the hardware business, but I would take their Amiibo idea. I think they have something with that, and it sucks to think about it. If they went the Skylanders route and they went the Disney Infinity route and put it on multiple consoles, I think they would sell a lot. I mean, when you only have 10 million units to sell your Amiibos on, you're only going to be able to ever sell that many Amiibos. But if you put it on consoles, the PS4 is now what, 25 million? Xbox
Yeah, well, it is moving to 3DS. You can get the Amiibo thing for 3DS now.
Yeah, but it's like it's one thing like when you're playing like Skylanders to have like the little portal and you put the character on the portal and it's sitting on the portal and you want to take it off and put a new one on there.
Yeah.
Like with 3DS, you like touch it, the little thing, and then take it off. It's just like it doesn't have that same experience.
Yeah.
I mean, even with Skylanders on the 3DS, you would just put it on the little portal and it would like read the character in the game and you'd never have to use it again. Like
I think Amiibos are going to disappear in a couple of years, because I think they're gigapets, and I think they're going to disappear really fast. Like they're really popular, but then they're just going to die.
I think
if they stay with just Nintendo, I do.
Just because they don't do much, because they literally don't do anything.
Well, unless you've been a kid, been excited about that kind of stuff, I guess hard to.
I have been a kid though, and I've collected. I never collected Beanie Babies, but I collected Star Wars toys. But you could move them around and stuff like that. Amiibos, you can't do any of that. I mean, yeah, you could touch it.
No, but they do different functions in the game, so you have these different characters to always use. So when Christian got Skylanders, the original one, we've gotten Giants and I forgot all the one, Swap Force and Trap Team and all those other ones.
I just think when they grow up,
all those characters work in the other games.
Yeah.
And so the ones he got on the first one he still uses.
But don't you think though, when they grow up a little bit and they realize, oh, this is essentially just a DLC code. That's just
that's when they trade it in. But that you don't sell it to the older kids. You sell it to the younger kids.
Yeah, but I
anyway.
mean, just I don't know, just like a Beanie Babies was sold to little kids, and a couple creepy older people. But I think it's gonna die out in a year or two.
I don't know. We'll see. I think they could do the same thing with Pokemon. I think that would be a big seller for them. I mean, they've really not done that much with the Pokemon series other than a few 3DS games. And I think they made something for the Wii, but they haven't made a full-out Pokemon. If any game did something with like a figure, it would be something like Pokemon. But even better if they could use it with like special cards or something and put it on different consoles and stuff. I think that would be a big seller. But I think where they really should go is I think they should become like a subscription service. And what I was thinking is like something like, you have like a Roku, you just plug into the TV and you can download, apps and stuff to it. And you can also, obviously stream shows. I think that fits probably their niche probably the best, just because they have a lot of nostalgia, but they're just not, people aren't buying it as large chunks because they're selling it for like $10 a piece, and nobody's buying, old SNES games for $10. So if they did a service, if they partnered with someone like Roku or Apple, and made just a nice. Actually, I mean, what they could do is they can make like little like nostalgic style controllers that are wireless, like a wireless NES controller, SNES controller that could work through the streaming device. I think that could sell, and sell it for like $50 or $100. I think people would pay for that. I think even adults would pay for that. But also, I mean, if they want to stay in the console business, do something that's portable, that does cartridges, but also works off that same streaming service that you can still do. I think there are a lot of areas of profitability for them. I don't think it's going to be in hardware, though.
But sadly, our time of dissing Nintendo must come to an end because we have other sections of the podcast tonight. But the takeaway should be, we still love Nintendo as a company. We just don't want to support them financially until they get their life together. They can always come crash on our couch, but we're not paying their rent, if that makes sense.
I might not unlock them. I might not go to the door if they knock.
Exactly. Like,
you're going to peep out. What you got?
We're still friends. But
Mario's out there like, guys, come on, man. I told you, I'm not gonna ask for any more drugs. I just need a place to rest, man. I'll be all right.
I know we've been shooting for an hour long podcast ever since episode 100, and we missed it last week, and we're gonna miss it again this week. But we're trying. Actually, let us know, guys, if you don't mind it when it go a little bit over, or if you've liked the shorter format. We'd like to hear it. But it's time for the news now.
News time.
Dave, what's your news item? Every host brings a news item to the table. Then we have a couple general interest ones. So what do you have to talk to us about? I can see it here, and I'm excited.
So did you guys get those emails from the developers of the WarZ, the DayZ ripoff that was abandoned? This was now first. There was 6 months ago. There was an email that went out or so about their new early access survival game. They were going to build it at the demand of the players. Right? Did you guys get those emails?
Yes, the players were just demanding.
Yeah,
I didn't get that one, but
I don't get the emails. I just hear about it from you. But yeah.
Yeah, so no one knows what happened to that project. That was like 6 months ago. Guys, new survival game. It's going to be awesome. I don't know where it went. Maybe it's still being developed. Who knows? However, a new game showed up on Steam this week called Burstfire. It appears to be a carbon copy, early access carbon copy of Rainbow Six Siege. And as it turns out, like no one knew where it came from. It's in an early access, so it's not finished yet, but the marketing screenshots on Steam look pretty decent. And it actually, the day it launched, hit the top sellers list, like number 2 or 3 for like the whole day that it came out in early access, before the reviews started dropping. Everyone's like, this is terrible, it's clunky, it doesn't play well, this feels like a mod, like what is this, where did this come from? I mean, warnings on number 1, it's $15. Well, someone did some research. The developer, Nacho Games, and publisher Free Reign Entertainment had no history, no records, no anything anywhere. So people kept digging, kept making connections, checking, domain registration, all that fun stuff. And finally, someone noticed that a download link on the website for Burstfire redirected to the warz.us.5.
Oh, man.
And as it turns out, this is yet another shell company run by Sergei Titov, apparently the puppet master of early access dump it and run games. Is this his lifestyle?
It's like a trip in the time machine. Like there's another Leland Yee story coming soon or something.
I don't understand. Apparently this has to make money, right? He's been doing this ever since, what is it, big off-road truckers or whatever it was.
I've forgotten. There's been enough of them now. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. He's been doing this for so long. This has got to be making him money. But with Steam refunds, my question for you guys is, do you think that this time around he's going to actually get away with any money off of this game? That's my first question. With refunds being a thing.
How long is the refund?
Less than 2 hours of play. You must have bought it in the last 14 days.
I don't know.
I mean, some people will
And if you leave it
enjoy
open for 2 hours, you're screwed.
And then my second question was, do you guys think that this will be the first TTOV game in the last decade to make it out of early access? Any takers? Anybody?
No, I'm good. Thanks bro.
Okay.
I'm good.
I might have pre-ordered. Just kidding.
James, what do you got for us?
Well, kind of the opposite end of kind of the opposite end of Nintendo. Fallout, good details. 400 hours of content.
Now, how do they define that? Is that collect every bottle cap, or is that?
I don't know.
Because like when The Witcher says 200 hours of content, there's like definitely 200 hours of content in there.
Well, I think one of the devs played it and like was 400 hours into it, so hadn't done everything. So, but also there's no level caps, and you can play after the ending, which is great.
Now, not New Game Plus, but you can just go back out into the wasteland. I mean, kind of like every other Bethesda game.
Well, no, New Vegas didn't do that.
Oh, it didn't? Okay, I haven't played that one.
Shame.
Well, yeah. But so you'll be able to go back out and play, no level cap, 400 hours of content. That's pretty solid. This will probably be the first Fallout game I really get into if it ends up being this good.
Well, I mean, with the crafting alone, I mean, even after you beat the game, there's so much to do. Just, build your town, defend against people, and, DLC will be coming out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So.
My item, Star Citizen. If you've been interested in Star Citizen, but maybe you punked out and bought Elite Dangerous because you were tired of waiting, you could play it for free and see if you might like Star Citizen. Arena Commander, which is the dogfighting module where you can fight against other players and bots and stuff, that is free this weekend. You have to go to Star Citizen's website and you can download it and play completely for free. You got to download the client and everything. But it's like a free weekend of Call of Duty or something like that, but it's for an early access game. And if you want to try it out, see if you like the graphics, see if your computer can run it, see if it's something you might be interested in, that's an option.
That's cool. Are you going to try it out this weekend?
I could already play Arena Commander because I kickstarted the game.
Got it.
He kickstarted the game.
I did.
You were that final $1.
30. I get the basic ship.
They hold a stockholder meeting. It's just Jeremiah at the table. What you got for me today?
That'd be if DayZ had a Kickstarter. It'd be Dave. You mean I get a fabric map? How many CDs of soundtrack ambient squealy background noises do I get? They're like, Dave, we have a 12 CD anthology collection. You're like, good.
Do you accept Visa and how many?
Do you accept deeds to land? I have
my soul.
What
is your bank's monthly transfer limit, good sirs?
Do you accept indentured servitude? Because that kind of makes two life dreams happen at the same time.
Dave and I we were playing Gwent yesterday, and we were both chatting. We're like, as much as I want this to happen, I don't want it to happen, but my heart still wants it to happen. If they come out with Gwent cards like Pokemon decks, you can get booster cards and
I thought
stuff.
this was about John for a second. What? Sorry, go ahead.
It's kind of like talking about John, but if there was booster decks. Like, you could buy, like, Pokemon stuff, you don't know what's in my
deck.
Dave and I would be boosting our decks all day long.
Just a couple of bros around the table boosting our decks.
I was like, crap. I wanted to just be one whole set. But if you collected them, I'm like, oh my gosh, I would be addicted to that. I'm like, no.
Okay, quick story time. So Joel and I have been playing Gwent like 3 or 4 times a week, like an hour.
That's great.
3 or 4 times a week.
During lunch or something?
Yeah. It holds up in PvP really, really well. It's so much fun. We've had some really like just crazy games where like we're both like taking 2 or 3 minutes per play, like trying to do like the poker face and all. It's gotten so bad. The only set that we didn't buy was the Scoia'tael from the guy that we found on Etsy that made like a really nice card set. So today we're like, okay, we're playing so much of this, we might as well get the last set of cards so they all match and we can keep playing a lot. We went and looked, and his Etsy store got pulled for copyright infringement. So like look at Joel. I'm like, oh man, we can't finish off all the sets. Like, how are we gonna play with the Scoia'tael deck? And I was like, wait. His contact info is still here, so I wrote him an email today asking if he'd sell me this deck like on the side.
Did you hear back?
We
Not
checked
yet.
we checked eBay too.
The game is
So-
really good.
Well, I taught Joy how to play the other night, and she picked up really fast, and she beat me twice. But I was using Dave's deck that wasn't very good at the time, and I didn't have any good play. But I was like, holy crap! But she catches on really fast. But she actually really enjoyed it. She loves like puzzly type games like that. So, because it's in a lot of ways, it's very much like poker, but a little bit more simple. So. It's really fun. But okay,
All right, Joel, what do you
news.
got? Yeah.
It's not video games. Star Wars news. This is really cool. There was an Entertainment Weekly official article. So if you don't want any kind of spoilers, I wouldn't say it's a spoiler. It's official news. But if you don't want anything for Star Wars, skip ahead a minute and 30 seconds.
I'm already
now.
asleep right now.
Okay.
I'm asleep.
If the character Kylo Ren, which is looks like the Dark Jedi in the film with the crazy saber, apparently. J.J. Abrams came out and said in the Entertainment Weekly, he said that's not his birth name, but he took on the last name of Ren, which is apparently called the Knights of Ren. Like that's a group. But I'm like, I think that's awesome. Like as a Star Wars fan, I'm like, what the heck is that? Who are these guys? Like they're hunting down stuff. I love that. And he also confirmed that he did make his lightsaber. So yeah.
I don't.
Sorry,
Joel,
nerds. But
Joel,
all
it
the
makes, me,
Star Wars
it
people-
makes me so happy that you're absorbing this lore like
You're
a
like,
sponge.
it's so significant
I
that his
love it,
last
Star-
name is not his real name.
Here's the interest. I'm curious. Okay, I'm really curious. Who is this going to be now? Like, because there's been a lot
It's
of
going to be
rumors.
Darth Maul. It's going to be the Darth Maul.
Is it going to be one of like Luke's or Han's like kid turned bad, where maybe they left and he joined some group and he came back, and then who is this guy?
Or is it going to be a random guy? Because
It could be a random guy. A lot of people
Probably-
think it's going to be the
probably that.
anti-Luke Skywalker, just the kind of nobody who kind of finds his way but becomes the bad guy. That I don't know.
Like
But
Anakin.
yeah.
Found his
I'm
way.
sorry, I'll stop poking fun at stuff you love.
Okay, I told this to John, and the first thing he said, he's like, I know it's going to be, we said going home, Annie! It's going to be Jar Jar Binks. I was like, as much as I hate that, man, that would be hilarious, though. I would look back in the theater as everyone's just like, hell no! Pulls out their guns and starts shooting the screen. All in unison.
I'm going to bring an effigy of George Lucas to the theater just in case. I'll sit there with a lighter just flicking the top like, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Anyways,
In
I thought that was pretty cool news.
in game-related news, Fallout Shelter is now available on Android. I downloaded it right before the podcast. I'll be trying that out later.
I saw that email, and I literally like went, thinking like Fallout 4 something came out. I was like, oh, I was like,
So
dang
if
it.
you've been waiting to play it in 1080p 60 FPS, you can now do that because it's on Android. No, seriously, 1080p, Joel. You don't know what that's like, but it's pretty great.
We
I
have
don't
it
know
on
what 1080p
iPads.
is either.
Ooh, 1440p master race. The battery life is horrible.
I know about my pixels.
I mean, I'm a nerd about tech stuff, but honestly, I don't know why you'd want higher than 1080p. I can't see the pixels unless I'm doing this.
Aren't there 4K screens out? Like
In
what
China?
the heck?
It's an arms race right now, just like megapixels on cameras.
You can read 2-point fonts.
Meanwhile,
Although the benefit,
I think iPhones have gotten to 720p by now. Like, I think they've barely crossed that threshold. It's Retina.
it's Retina. The pixels mean more.
They're certainly more because they cost more.
They have more emotional value connected to it.
Oh, Joel, by the way, I wanted to follow up on your smartwatch thing, your Apple Watch. We went to the Grand Central Station Apple store.
Oh, nice.
John wanted to play with, John wanted to play with an Apple Watch, play with it for like 5 minutes. I was like, I have no idea. Like, it doesn't, why? But I was thinking about it, and I was like getting tempted to buy a Moto 360. And I looked up everything it could do, everything the Apple Watch could do. And then I thought, if I lived in New York City, I actually came up with a good use for it. So I am now conceding a good legitimate use for a smartwatch. I was murdering my phone's battery because every time we had to look up directions to get to a subway station, somewhere to eat, a bathroom, anywhere, we pull the phone out and you have to hold it and check it every block or so. You're unlocking the phone and keeping an eye on it. If I had a smartwatch, it would just vibrate and then show me which way I was supposed to be turning and where I was supposed to be going. That legitimately, like, I walked into a Best Buy because I wanted to see if they had them in stock there. Because like I was that tempted because I kept killing my phone battery doing that. That's a legitimate use for a smartwatch. That would have actually made my life easier compared to just having my phone.
Well, as during this whole 48-hour film festival thing, my phone was buzzing like crazy because James would be sending me a message, and then the guy who's working on music for it was also buzzing me constantly, saying, hey, how's it going? Or Jonah was texting me. And I had a camera in one hand, moving around tripods and stuff, and I was so pissed for a while because I'm like, take your phone out, swipe it, set a camera down, check a look, type back. I was like, man, I would love to have just watch if it's something that I can quickly glance at and I don't have to respond to. I'm really excited about that because I do a lot of that kind of stuff, especially with weddings or commercials and stuff like that. I'm always holding a camera, and so kind of like I don't, especially with the iPhone 6, it is a lot bigger. So I do hope they go with a smaller phone next time. If they allow a smaller phone.
They actually have this feature where you can turn off the vibrate.
Well,
Or it just goes to silent.
It's not about I don't want to look at it, is I have to look at it, but it's the constant pulling your phone out of your pocket.
But you could
Joel, what you need is
set it on the table. And
when Norman blows up, Joel, I understand what he's saying. He's on the move and stuff. He needs to be able to get to it on quickly. But Joel, when Norman blows up, just hire me as your assistant, and I'll take care of all that for you. I'll just ask you, hey Joel, what do you want me to tell this guy? I'll take care of it. You'll never. I'll carry you places.
You'll check your Moto GX or Moto X for me.
Yes.
You'll be checking my text for you.
Yes, exactly. I'll carry you places. I'll hold you up in crowds. It's gonna be great. I will earn every dollar.
You're gonna be my jib. It's like I come back with a glide cam. You just pick me up like a ballet dancer, like lift me up.
Yeah, you won't even need like the remote screen. You can actually be on the other end of the camera with it.
You hold me in my hand. I'm like higher.
What do you get a reel?
Yeah.
Anyway, and another news. Anyone can see Windows 10 activation rules have been clarified today, and it's good.
Really?
Yep. So Windows 10, now when you activate it, even if it's an upgrade, it's tied to, I don't know if it's your Microsoft account, but it's definitely your motherboard. And so if you do like a clean install of Windows, even a clean install, not just a reinstall, it just knows, it just activates. Like you don't have to go
tied
through
to
the
your
process.
motherboard? That's not good for us either.
Well, no, hold on. So swapping out all your other components, they tie it to like the MAC address of the motherboard or the serial number on the motherboard. You have to tie it to something. So you don't have to keep track of your serial number. And they did say if you swap out your motherboard, call them and that you will be able to get another activation number. Just like if you've activated too many copies on Windows XP or something. You can get around it with a phone call. It's mildly inconvenient, but that's still not bad. As usual, all the doom and gloom stuff is not that doomy and gloomy. Actually, I think this is a very nice, convenient change. That means you don't have to necessarily keep track of serial keys and stuff anymore. One nice thing about an Apple is once you install a new copy of OS X, you install it, you're good to go. You just go on to your thing. Or you can do what John did with his computer, where you install Windows and then you just ignore all the activation prompts forever, and it technically does work. It's now time for mail time. You can write into the show. Sorry, Joel, you were going to sing.
Mail time.
casualshenanigans@gmail.com. You can also go to www.casualshenanigans.com and click on the Contact Us page. But you can write in just like Ethan did. And he says, guys, I was wondering if you could recommend a good place for me to buy a good desktop gaming PC. Can we recommend a good place? No. Can we recommend some places? Yes. Here's the problem with gaming PCs. Consoles have an advantage of the console manufacturer gets a little bit of money for every game that's sold. They get a licensing fee. They don't actually make money off of selling the console. At some point in the console's life cycle, it'll be cheap enough to make that they will. But at least at first, they don't make them. Usually, they lose some money on making the console. They make their money off selling the games. Well, Acer and Alienware and HP and everyone else are not going to make any money off of you buying games off Steam. They only make money off selling you the hardware. So you will pay double what you pay for a console to get hardware that sometimes isn't even as good. That's the problem with most PC gaming places. If you want to spend $2,500, you'll get a nice computer. But if you just want to get into PC gaming and you don't want to spend $2,500 because you definitely don't need to, what do? So
Build.
I would recommend building one. Now, we would understand if you are nervous doing that, if you just want to get a computer and that's hard to do. I'm going to suggest your best option. What I think is your best option. Now, you could go, like if you go to Newegg right now, you can get an Acer Predator desktop. It has an i7 4770, 8 gigs of RAM, a 1 terabyte hard drive, and a GTX 770, and you can buy it for $1,050. So it costs, 3 times what the potato masher does, and it's about 50% better than the potato masher. So for the money, not necessarily that amazing, but it's new, and it has a warranty, and it's all put together for you. And honestly, that's not that bad of a deal, and you'll be able to play games for years. It's more powerful than the current consoles. It's good. But if you buy a decent desktop and then you buy a new graphics card and a new power supply, you can do those 2 simple swaps and have a gaming computer. Because most, like any i5 processor in a modern desktop, you'll be able to play games on it. Even if it's not at like the highest end processor, it'll be fine. And memory, that'll be fine. Terabyte hard drive, that's fine. That'll all work. And some, there are some desktops that you don't even need to buy another power supply. But a graphics card is one of the easiest things you can swap out in a computer. You just need to get one short enough to fit in your case, and it goes in the PCI Express slot. Like, that's it. It just plugs right in just like that. Anyone can do this. This is so easy. And then if you need to, you swap out the power supply, which honestly is not that hard either. There are tons of guides online. Look at a guide on how to build a PC. That's how you swap out the power supply. You could do that whole process in 30 minutes on your first try and save hundreds of dollars. You could buy on Newegg like a $500 desktop and a $200 graphics card and then maybe like a $50 power supply, and you'd have an awesome gaming computer. Or buy like a pre-built. Don't get Alienware. They're super expensive. Don't get CyberPower PC or iBuyPower or any of that stuff. If you live in Canada, there's a great thing. You can use ncix.com. That's like their Newegg. And for $50, if you like put a complete computer's worth of components in your cart, for $50, they'll put it together for you before they mail it, which is pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
That's really cool.
If you can't do that, like if you don't live in Canada, which most people listening to this don't, your best bet's probably to spend a little bit more and buy like an $1,000 desktop from Acer or HP, one of their gaming desktops from somewhere like Newegg, or buy a slightly cheaper desktop and retrofit it yourself, which is not hard to do. But if you have more technical build questions, write into the show and we'll answer them on Casual Shenanigans Tech, which is our PC hardware focused podcast. We just recorded episode 3 that's gone out to our Patreon supporters. And we answer lots of very in-depth questions. Dave and I will talk to you all about your build. So that's the only mail we have this week. But as always, write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com. What's up, James?
Don't go to Best Buy. Buy a gaming computer.
No, definitely don't.
I was there the other day, and they had just gotten, like, I'd never actually seen in the store like the iBuyPower computers.
Yeah.
And they were all excited about putting it up, on the top shelf and stuff like that. Walk by, I wanted to read the specs because it was quite expensive. But it had a i5. It was like $900, almost $1,000. Had an i5 and it had a 750 Ti in it.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's just no good. No good.
I was just like, really? For almost $1,000?
A 750 Ti is like the bare minimum that I would say.
No. It wasn't a 750 Ti. It was a 750.
Oh, not a Ti?
Correct.
That's not even good enough to play a lot of modern games then. Like, you won't be able to play them at acceptable frame rates.
So you're spending a significant amount of money just because. I mean, I'd rather just buy cheapo.
I will hand consoles this. I'll give this. It is an easier barrier for entry if you're unfamiliar with everything. It's totally easier to get into. Like, most everyone, if you're somewhat tech savvy, you can learn how to build a computer. It's like big Legos. It's not hard. It's helpful if you have a friend who can watch over your shoulder, but like, it's like 9 pieces. You watch a couple guides online, you figure it out, maybe with a friend looking over you. It's a cool skill to learn. It's about as hard as changing your oil in your car, which if you don't know, that's pretty easy too. But I don't blame you if you don't like...
I mean, you can go to Geek Squad and buy something a little cheaper, and then just put I hate going to Geek Squad. I'd never go there. But if you have the money to spend and you just don't have any friends that do it, and you're never going to feel comfortable, just buy something else and then put like a 960 in there or something like that. Yeah. Something that they can do in the store, and you can go home with something better than a almost $900 750 computer. Anyway,
I was going to say, Jeremiah, one thing that has changed is, with the internet, you can research how to do almost anything. Like, if I wanted to learn how to do the oil for my car, I knew I could watch a 10-minute video and I could go do it like right now. It's the same thing for computers. I remember buying the PC Gamer Guide to building your first computer in like 2005, like the actual magazine, like the bonus one with all the photo guides. Like, you don't have to do that anymore. Now you can just look up the process and pretty comfortably go through it, I don't think, without any real difficulty.
Yeah.
Shoot a lot of stuff.
It is harder than getting a console, but it's a good thing to learn how to do too. It's a useful skill to be able to diagnose your own computer problems. I hate having to refer people to computer shops to get their computer problems fixed, because like you'll get ripped off. You'll pay $100 for virus removal. Like there just aren't
No, you
that
pay
many.
$100 for like the freaking like scan
Update
of the
Adobe
computer.
Reader. Yeah. So it's not that hard to do. It's easier if you have a friend though. And we'll be your friends. We're not going to come to your house, but we'll be your friends. And we will hopefully give you advice, and there's plenty of other people that can as well. But I would encourage you, if you're at all thinking maybe I could do this, give it a try. You know, if you need to, buy a old $20 desktop from a thrift store, take it apart, put it back together using the guide, like maybe practice on something else before you buy $1,000 of parts. But you can do this. It's now time for 90 Seconds with Joel, part of the podcast where Joel talks about what he wants to sell you for 90 seconds. Joel.
Well, folks. No, I'm not going to sell you on anything.
Really?
Yeah,
you are. That's why.
I was joking. No, actually, well, I think I only kind of spit it out really quick last 2 podcasts, or last one, because we were all laughing. I think I said it while we were laughing, but I just wanted to let everyone know that the Nebula from Hell, we had an awesome launch party. I posted some photos up on the Nebula from Hell Facebook page. Thank you, Jeremiah, for those. They were great photos. But yeah, I mean, we had a lot of fun. We had a bunch of people play the game, and Dave, I gave everyone a free copy of the game if they, like, whoever won got to keep the game. And one of the cards in the game allows you to beat the game. You have to go to the finish, you beat the game, you win, but the downside is you have to physically leave the party, like grab your keys and drive home, and you can't come back. So ordinarily it sucks because you're like, crap, I want to win, but then I'm literally going to leave the party. But it was hilarious because Dave, like, he's reading a card, he just slams the card down, stands up and walks away, and I was like, he got that card! And Dave drove home, and yeah, he played Witcher 3, and he got a free copy of my game. But it made me laugh so hard because I was like, oh, that worked out well.
What was great too is Joel, like at an hour after that, like I'm at home, and I get a text from my wife. She's like, "Hey, we're all going to the movies. Joel's gonna buy my ticket. He'll give me a ride home later." Everyone's like going to the movies and having fun. And I was like, "Well, I get a free copy of the Nebula." But I do like free things, so I was kind of happy about that.
Well,
Yeah, if anyone was going to take that challenge, it was always going to be you, Dave.
Yeah.
It was funny when Picor came into town and he got that card. It's like he'd have to drive 3 hours up, 3 hours back. And he'd probably be like, okay.
Yeah, we were staying at John and Debbie's. Would we have to drive back to their place, or would we have to drive home? What are the rules?
You'd probably have to drive. You got to drive away, go back to wherever you're staying. So
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
alright.
you'd still left the party. So
Okay, that qualifies.
but anyways, but I was gonna say that it is on the website now for a much cheaper price. So than it was on Kickstarter. So
Thanks,
Kickstarter backers.
yeah, no, pretty much. Well, I had to charge a little bit more because Kickstarter, it costs up the wazoo, and then
Well, how much does it cost now?
It is $42.
Oh, that's not that
not
much.
that
It's
much
$14.99. Thanks, backers.
Yeah, it's a little bit
on
cheaper.
there, it was like $55 plus I think $10 for shipping. So
Man.
it's a lot better now. But yeah,
Cool.
for the hardcore. Yeah. And then I'll mention just briefly, yeah, we had a lot of fun doing this 48-hour film festival in our town. We had James as the HAL 9000 robot on my Skype. We just like brought him everywhere, and he just got to listen in, help us with script stuff, and it was a crazy 48 hours, but it was a lot of fun. I don't think I'll ever do it again, but it was fun this
tell
time.
the parameters, like how
The
it works.
parameters basically on Friday night. We went into this kickoff for this event. It's nationwide.
It's on
I
your
think it's actually international too. But anyways, you meet at a place, and at 7:00 they give you pick from a hat a random genre, and so it could be holiday, it could be drama, it could be action, musical, western. We got dark comedy, and then this lady who's running the event, she came up and she gave everyone a line you have to use in the film, like verbatim, and our line was, "I wish I knew." And then the prop you have to have in the film, has to be seen, was a spoon. And then what was the character? Then we had to include
Jared Gibson.
Jared Gibbons, the camp counselor.
Gibbons.
Yeah. So we had to have those 3 different things in it.
Too bad we didn't know his last name.
Yeah, we didn't know his last name first.
We had to re-record the line.
We had to re-record the line. That was great. But yeah, so you pretty much have 48 hours to write it, film it, edit it, and then drive it over on an SD card. So, but we got it done. But
Yeah, Friday night it was just like I'm sitting on Skype. I'm like, I just don't want to do this. I'm just gonna say sorry.
I'm thinking this is going to be a long weekend.
And then finally, a good idea came about, and I was like, all right, you know what, this is gonna be fun. And so I think it worked out really well.
But it was really cool because I was telling James, I was like, it's just crazy thinking like even 10 years ago, we couldn't have done most of this because like we were filming in the morning some of these non-dialogue scenes while James was working on Google Docs, helping us with he was writing, updating stuff. So as soon as we got back home, he was already done. We're like, all right, let's start shooting. And then James was on the
Joel
James
hadn't read the script.
TV.
He's like, all right, start shooting.
I was like, all right, I'm sure it's gonna be good. And then we started filming, and James is on the big TV, and the actors are literally sitting on the couch looking at a TV, kind of looking at their lines, reading it.
Yeah, looking at the script, and so if there's something that it didn't like need to be changed, we like change it on the fly. So like their script
weird.
on the TV would be changed.
In between takes. You guys were changing the script between takes.
But it was cool. And then that evening, I edited from Saturday night, like at 8 o'clock till 5:30 in the morning on Sunday. I went to bed, and then I get woken up by like buzz, 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 and James is like, wake up, we got to get back to work. And I'm like, no. But we finished
the cool thing, like when we were like going through editing, like with Skype sharing, I could see everything you're doing on the screen, so I could say, hey, why don't you try moving this clip here? You know, take a little bit of this out.
That's
I mean,
cool.
it's just really cool that technology's got enough. Hopefully, we'll get to a point where we can like actually co-edit.
That would be
awesome. if Adobe ever gets their online service big enough to where you could actually do everything real time, that'd be pretty sweet.
But yeah, we had a great weekend. But this coming Wednesday, they're showing all the short films. So 22 teams entered. So we'll see how we do. So, about it.
And Joel, wasn't there also a little bit of a media presence on you?
Nope.
Well, kind of. So our news in our area, they had this one girl. She texted me earlier in the day and she said, hey, we're going to...
No. She texted you at midnight.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. She texted me at midnight. Right before the event too, and she said, hey, is it all right if we tag along with you for about 22 hours throughout the whole event and follow you, like, because she still wants to do a big write-up for it, because I think whatever for the newspaper or online or something. And I was like, all right, yeah, that's fine. So we show up at the kickoff, and it was just me and my buddy Kafori. That was it. Like, we didn't bring, I mean, James is out of town, and the rest of the people didn't need to come to the kickoff to find out your genre.
Yeah, I was there the next morning.
Yeah. So she sat down, and she's like, oh, so is this your team? Because she heard about I was doing Norman, So I think she was expecting like this big team, and it was just us. And she was like, oh, okay, all right, be right back. It's just I came back 10 minutes later. She's like, so my manager, I'm sorry guys, I got reassigned to another group, and I'm like, I wonder how much, because we were just two guys. Everyone was like freaking out, yelling. People had all like dressing up in suits and like fancy ties and stuff and costumes.
But that's
and everything.
not how Joel rolls.
Yeah, I was just sitting there
Joel's
like calmly,
cargo
just
shorts and a t-shirt. Like, what's up?
Jeremiah,
We're gonna go to Piggly Wiggly after this.
Jeremiah, there's a photo of Joel. Like it's a photo of the auditorium, but Joel's in the corner of the photo. on a row with just him and Confori. Joel's wearing a t-shirt and cargo shorts, and he looks like this. Like everyone else is like, yeah, film this. When Joel's like, where's the stuff I do?
And I think it's Joel again. In the future, you need like an entourage. I'll be carrying you around. Like you'll be wearing like a baseball hat and sunglasses. You don't speak to people. I'll be like, Mr. Kelso's fine with you tagging along, Mr. Kelso.
There were some entourages there. I think this approach actually is going to be to our benefit when they actually start looking at the films, because I mean, some people showed up with large groups. Like how big, Joel?
Like 25 something.
Maybe they did a great job.
Big groups. Yes,
or
we'll see.
There were a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, we'll see. But it was just funny, but yeah, it just kind of made me laugh because I was like, oh, and she's going to another team. I'm like, okay.
That's probably for the best, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, what would she have followed around?
I mean, she would have just followed us around filming.
Sat at your house while we're like talking on Skype.
I told James and Kafori, I was like, it'd be awesome if we just got a VHS camera and we just filmed really crappily the whole time, like just like, wait, did you do Norman? And I'm just like, yeah, okay, roll around the mud again. It's like we're doing the worst crappy thing. I talked with my buddy. He found out I entered the film festival. He's like, for a second I was like, okay, I was excited that Joel's entering, but then I was thinking, wait, the last film festival festival he entered, he actually submitted one of his stupid Boundless MP reviews. Like, it's just me on the camera going, hey guys, like talking about stuff, talking about a camera. And he was laughing. So he's like, I wonder if Joel's going to do that again. So I didn't tell him. I was like, you're going to have to find out.
All right. It's now time for a new category on the podcast, a new section called Game Suggestions. That's not a great name.
That's not the name of this.
What?
Shut up.
How about we
Shut
call it
up.
the Game of the Week?
Game of the Week.
Game of the Week.
of the Week.
Okay, so I've
Joel,
got
what
a
is
challenge.
this?
I've got a challenge asked for you listeners. You're gonna have to play a new game this week. If you have it, I mean, don't feel like you have to buy this game.
And the hosts.
Yeah, and the host too. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to try new games. So next week it's gonna be another person giving out another game. So maybe it's Dave or Jeremiah or James. But this game this week, your homework is you have to play 2 hours of this game by next podcast, and then write in, or get a chance to write in, tell us what you think of this game, especially if you haven't played it. If you've played it already, don't feel like you have to play it. Maybe pressure someone else to play it.
But still write in if you played it before.
But write in. But this is just a way to like force people to just give a try of a game they've never thought they would ever play, don't want to play, just to see if it's something they might like. So this week is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. It's dirt cheap on Steam, so you might be able to find it.
Reinstalled it.
Yeah, it works well now. It actually works well on PCs, so it does work. So just try to play at least 2 hours if you can. I mean, it's a long game, so you might not get that far, but just give it a real try this week, and then let's see what you guys think next week. So that's
I promise
it. And then,
I will try.
Yeah. And then I'm looking forward to trying whatever games you guys decide next
Hey,
week.
Dave, you looking forward to trying Mass Effect 2 when it's my turn?
Oh, yeah.
Right to the second one.
I have it. The second one's the best one to start on for various reasons.
I think with
I don't know.
Lost
I
in the
think
first
one
one.
I think if you got into it, one would be.
The first hour of 2 is awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, he doesn't know. Let's move
With
on.
Mass Effect 1, I got 12 hours in, and then I ended up jumping from planet to planet, just running around on the rover, and I think that's where it lost me.
Yep, that's where it lost a lot of people.
You don't have to do that though.
I know, but it still implied it, and that's where it lost a lot of people. But
Yeah.
anyway. So, Knights of the Old Republic hosts, we're all going to try to do this. Yes.
No,
No? Why not?
because I've beaten it.
Okay. All right, Dave,
So
are
if
you
you
going to try to
haven't
do
played
this?
it, yeah.
I
am.
I've
haven't
only
played
played
it-
like an hour, maybe a couple hours. I don't know. It's been years. But okay.
Just give it a good shot, because I will give whatever game you choose next time.
I have it
Nice.
installed already.
Sweet. All right. And then before we go tonight, I have an interesting factoid. Butt is a medieval unit of measurement for wine. A buttload of wine is 129 gallons. 2,000 buttloads is a butt ton.
That's glorious.
Okay. Speaking of a buttload
or a Debbie glass.
or a Debbie class.
Speaking of a buttload.
Yeah. Ben, who listens to the podcast, I guess you're my friend too, Ben, but there's another Ben. His mom is just, really, really conservative. And I did the worst combination of words one night in front of her talking to Ben about something. I was like, dude, I've got I think they were talking about a mission trip too. And I said, I don't know how I got to this, but I was like, yeah, I got a buttload of crap. And she just turned to look at me and said, get out. And I was like, I'm going home now.
Do I win the game? Do I win?
I'm like, what did I just say? A buttload of crap. I'm like, that's so crass.
I mean, for you, it's not really, but for
Yeah, I know. But I was just like, whoop, 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 whoop.
Man.
Well, that was fun.
Well,
Was it? I'm just kidding.
Dave, how about you do the rigmarole for us tonight?
Do I have to?
All right. As always, you can write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com. I'm excited. You can tweet at casualshenanigan, at germgaming, at evilviking. You can also check out casualshenanigans.com. Now, I want to give a special plug to Casual Conversations that are coming out soon. We already had the 2 host interviews with Dave and I, and then James also interviewed Joel, and I interviewed James. Those have gone out to the Patreon backers already. They'll go out to the rest of you guys early next week. And then later this week, going out to Patreon backers is a very special new podcast from Joel and James. Everyone else will get that in a week or so from now. And then next week, James and I are
Goodbye, subscribers.
James and I are also starting a new Casual Shenanigans Conversations series that we're actually pretty excited about, and that's going live then. So there's a lot of good stuff coming out. And that's about it. Shane asked about a comment of the week. The comment of the week is the potato masher is a lie. Go kill yourself. Die in a hole. Murder your whole family. You're a liar. I'm paraphrasing 30 or 40 comments. But in all seriousness, we have no comment of the week. We ought to bring that back more, Dave. I know, especially now that you've ended a Total War series, I feel like you've got some gold to mine for the next episode. But
The final episode of the American Republic is now up to 72 comments.
is that a lot?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Man, are they salty?
There's some salty. There's some salty.
Sweet. Well, thank you guys for coming out. Thank you for listening. As always, we appreciate it. We like that you guys are here. We like doing the show. This has been a long episode. We're sorry. We didn't mean to do that.
Actually, Jeremiah, if I can interrupt your outro just for a second,
Yeah.
I actually do have a comment of the week.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. I
Dang,
actually forgot about this because this got deleted, so that's why it didn't quite make it on the official... That's why I didn't quite make it onto the official page, but this was the first comment posted on a video titled Anti-Social Media, Arma 3 Anti-ISIS Mission by Evil Viking 13. It's a mission where we all played and we shot ISIS, and there were eagle cries and American flags waving, and it was glorious. It was the first comment on the video. It was accompanied by a dislike, and it was simple and to the point. Complete shite. Which he probably deleted before I could ask him why he loved the terrorists. That's our comment of the week. Complete shite.
Thanks, guys. And from all of us to all of you, come try to kill us on Saturday in DayZ. If you're man enough and you're not man enough, you ain't got nothing. We're going to be protected by other people who are good at the game. But definitely come out and try your luck. We're not going to be streaming it because we don't get stream sniped, but we will record it and post it later. Other people who are trying to kill us, you are welcome to stream it, and we will tweet out their streams if you want to follow along with everything happening. But for now, everybody, stay thirsty, stay casual.